Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Besiege Bots tutorial series. Last time we did a full build of a simple vertical spinner in the lightweights category. This time we'll do a horizontal also in the lightweights category. We'll do an undercutter horizontal this time because I think they're the easiest to start for new builders, and we'll be using the fruitloop motor we learned in episode 6. Without further ado, let's get into it, and to start, let's build the motor. Unlike last time though, we will build this motor with the mount facing up because we're using this on an undercutter now instead of an overhead. So let's start by actually placing down the wheel first. We will put this below and move the starting block out of the way. And now we can place the motor wheel. Because we're running a single-sided motor, I would suggest putting a few more braces on here this time. Probably do 6 braces. Oh. Okay. That is 6 braces. And we put that on the wheel. And we flip the entire assembly over. And we put this inside the large wheel, so it's protected. Now let's do the spin block mount. Make this free spinning. There we go. And we can also put a skid plate on the bottom because it's going to be running on the ground and we don't want the spinner to be hitting the ground because that will reduce our spinner speed. So let's drop down one of these round armor panels and put this on the bottom. And this should slide on the ground with very low friction. Very nice. And that is the motor done. Let's get to building the spinner. I think for a horizontal, we want a little bit thicker weapon, a little heavier weapon. And I think we'll use grabbers. Let's place down 3 grabbers in a row with reasonable spacing. And let's double this up so that we get a wider and thicker bar. Check if everything connects. It does. And now we can duplicate this to the other side. And you can see the skid pad's on the ground, but the grabbers are pretty low, but they're not touching the ground when they spin. And now we can get to measuring the diameter. So let's do that. Looks like it's under, this is 11 diameter right now. So let's just apply that for now. The speed for that, I think, is 6. Let's also make the motor low friction, turn the friction to minimum and 0.1. And apply the same probably to the outer mount wheel as well. And, oh yeah, bind the motor to whatever spinner key we use. And here we have it. I think the spinner is all done. Next, let's get into building the chassis. I think for an undercutter, we should do a triangular chassis that extends back to one side, and then we can have 2 wheels, one on each side. So let's start by doing the outer sections of the chassis. I think we start this by doing wood blocks, but having them face towards the spin block. This way we can put a double strong log on the other side. We should try to shift the wood blocks as far to the front as possible so we can have a set of 2 wood blocks on each side. We'll be able to see later. Try shifting that out as much as possible. Here we go, they both connect. And now let's just turn the starting block 45 degrees so we can mirror the chassis off of it. And let's do that. Oh, didn't work. There we go. And I think they're not colliding into each other. Actually, they are doing it a little bit, so let's just move them out a little bit more. And here we go. Now we have 4 wood blocks from 2 sides, both attaching to this mount spin block. Next, because we have the primaries facing towards the outside, we can now do a double strong log, and we'll get strong connections all around. We can stretch this out as much as it will go, and move this in until both can connect. I think this looks pretty good. Yep. We can delete, reset that. And let's mirror the log also to the other side. And here we have the outer chassis frame pretty much done. Let's get to filling the insides now. I think we should use wing panels again because they have that nice 45-degree front. I think this could look really nice if we just put it right here like this and have the top of the wing panel be aligned with the top of the logs. I think this looks good. And let's start reinforcing the chassis with wood blocks. We would be able to fit 2 wood blocks here. Actually, let's move this back a little bit more. And we have 1 wood block here and 1 wood block over here. They just need to be moved in a little bit. And rotate this a little bit to point it into the connector. And here we go. Now we can duplicate this to the other side. And we have our front nice and reinforced. Next, I think for the back section, we can have 2 more wing panels, 1 on each side, like this. And here we can attach the wheels to as well, and also, of course, more reinforcement to the chassis. So now, let's do the wood blocks again. This one already works. Move this one in a little bit. It looks like it needs a little bit more reach. We can just stretch this forwards. There we go. And we should also actually connect this. So we can connect the wing panels to each other. You can see we can take advantage of this add point to this add point, as well as this add point to this add point. So let's actually do a clean 45 here so they get closer. And now move them into each other and also do the same for over here. I think this will just reach. Doesn't reach yet. We do need to microspace this one a little bit more and rotate this out a little bit. And here we go. Now we can duplicate all the wood blocks over to the other side. And we have all of our chassis reinforcement complete. Because we do want our bot to be low profile and also be able to drive upside down, you can see these wood blocks might be a little bit high. So let's move them down so that they are aligned with the other wood blocks. It should still reach because of how tall these add points on wing panels are. And here we go. Next up, I think we should build the wheels, which we will do probably attached to these wing panels. For the drive system, I think we should use a 3-stack drive system because we only really have 2 wheels. I think the wheels should be faster so we can take advantage of the speed to get more bite with our spinner. And what we can do here is we can attach to the rear add point in the back of the wing panel, and thus allowing our wheel to be a little bit recessed into the chassis, which we can then build wheel guards around in the future. Let's stretch that out. And here we go. We are connected. And now we gotta move our wheels down so that the spinner sits flat on the ground. I think still a little bit more down. A little bit more. And a little bit more still. Oh, doesn't connect anymore. I think we should just move these wing panels down a little bit along with the wheels. I think we're sitting at a good height now. We can duplicate the wheels to the other side. And as you can see, our spinner sits flat on the floor and it doesn't hit the ground, which is the exact thing we want. And we can also check our block count. We just have enough blocks for wheel guards. So let's do that right now. I think for wheel guards, we want something that extends down low to protect the wheels because most spinner hits, they come from lower. So what we can do is we can use some cannons. And this allows us to have a little bit of more weight on the back because cannons are very heavy. And if we have more weight on the back, we have more grip on our wheels, which kind of improves the bad weight distribution problem that a lot of undercutters have. And that's why we put some cannons here. And now we can extend this with grabbers. We can follow the geometric lines of the robot. We first have a grabber going back. And we can have one down low as well. And now we can extend the lower one. And we have this be at a 45-degree angle, so it's parallel with the wheel. I think that will work pretty well as a wheel guard. We can now duplicate this to the other side as well. And here we go. Let's check block count. We still have one more block. I think what we'll do is protect the mount in the front from direct hits. So, oh, computer's lagging a little bit, sorry. Now we can place a armor panel in the front, like this. And this will shield the front wood blocks and the mount nicely from direct hits. And here we have it. I think this is the building of our undercutter robot done. I think next up we can bind the wheels. Bind this to however you like. Ground wheels on, speed and friction maximum. And put the binding on the wheels. Oh, it's reversed right now, so we hover over the parts and press F. And here we go. We have ourselves an undercutter that we can spin and we can drive. Very nice. I think before you go test it, we should also paint it. It already looks kind of like Valkyrie, so may as well paint it like Valkyrie. Do a dark gray base coat and a blue spinner, and we can put in some white highlights. And here we have it, an undercutter horizontal spinner robot in the lightweight category that is easy to build. And that's it for today. Stay tuned for our next episode, which we will do a flipper, and thank you for watching.